Well, hello, Indy and I out in the mountains, heading out to go for an overnight camp. We're going to be testing out a tent, shelter, hammock. I'm not even really entirely sure what I think it should be called. It's the Skynest Hammock Tent, and I've used it before as a hammock and really liked it. It's a really nice hammock. But Skynest market it as a hammock and a tent, and I'm a little bit unsure about whether I think it's going to be well suited to be a tent and whether it can really be called a tent. But I'm keeping my mind open to the fact that it might actually be my next favourite tent. So I'm going to take it about an hour's walk into a little spot that I saw last time I was in this area, and I'm going to set it up and see what I think of the Skynest Hammock Tent as a tent. With the hammock you get the two straps that go around the trees, and these two straps become the two guy lines for the top part of the tent. Inside here is this cord, and that's sort of creating the ridge line, I guess. I just want to make sure that's nice and tight. I just imagine the more rigid this is, the higher the tent is going to be. Because you can see that's going to be its maximum height. Like, look how low it is down to the ground here. And the other thing that concerns me, when I put this up in my garden, I realised that because this bit is all attached, you lose the floor of the tent because it sits up here, and it has to because of this ridge line. So you actually can't like push down on it or sit on it until about this point here. So it's really only from there to the end, and it's not very high, so I'm a little bit concerned about space, but I'm going to stop complaining and actually try it before giving you my opinion. The image that I saw on the website showed those sides going right down to the ground, but my concern is I'm just not going to have enough room inside the tent. If they go down to the ground, it's going to be really claustrophobic. So I've left them up higher, but you could pin them right down to the ground. You can see here's the hammock itself, which forms the base of the tent, and then you've got this mesh compartment there, which is great for ventilation. So given that it's summer, I think actually having these bits up higher is going to work quite well. It's not looking too bad. I'm going to get my seat set up and Indy's bed, and let's have some wine. Hey, let's have some wine. And did you want a treat maybe? I'm sure you'd love a treat. Oh, what good manners. What good manners. surprise for Indy. I've got something new for her, but I'm going to give her her treat first because that's what she really wants. You don't really care about fancy equipment, do you? You just want food. Hello. Good girl. Hey. You are sweetheart. So I have got a fantastic dog bed with me today. This is from Outask, who are the same company that gave me the lantern, and I'm going to be using the lantern tonight. You guys might have seen it before on one of my other camps, but it's a fantastic lantern, and even though it's a little bit heavy, I've carried it out to this camp because it's that good. And this is a new product that they are just launching this week. And they asked me if I'd like to try it after they saw me camping with Indy. Because it's for you. So girl, this is a dog bed. Let's have a look. Woo! That looks awesome. Woo. It didn't come with instructions, probably because you're supposed to be smart enough to figure it out, so I'm going to try and be smart enough to figure it out. Indy, want to come lie down here, darling? In the bed? No, there you go. There you go. How's that? Is that pretty good? So the idea with this, from what I can understand, is that it's designed to be able to be used in all sorts of conditions. So if you're on the snow or ice, you've got the insulation of the air underneath. It can be wiped clean, it can be hosed clean, you can drag it around. It's got this really thick protective outer bit that you can then unzip and wipe down, etc. So yeah, that seems pretty cool. It's got these handles on it so you can move it around. It's quite big for me, for backpacking. It's quite big. Size-wise though, probably not too dissimilar to the mat that I bring for her anyway. Just maybe a little bit heavier. But I think that it would be a wonderful product for times when your dog's going to get dirty, wet, muddy, probably my trips. So yeah, we'll see if Indy likes it. At the moment she wants to lie on the ground, so you know, you just can't please a dog. You just can't, unless you've got food, hey. Thanks for the treats, you guys. Those of you that have bought Indy treats on Buy Me a Coffee, really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm just thinking, I'm wondering if I should show you around first. I'll just show you around the area before I sit down and have some wine. I just love the layers over there in the rock. You can see how the layers were laid down over millions of years, and then the seismic activity, that's the word I'm looking for, because New Zealand lies right over the top of two plates, and so we get a lot of volcanic activity, a lot of tectonic activity, and so you can see where there's been an earthquake at some point and it's pushed those layers of rock up, and they're now on an angle. Beautiful. Hello. The mountains are pretty rugged. They're not overly high around here, I think no higher than about 2,000 metres. I think. But they're pretty rugged all the same. It's really dry here at the moment. I mean, obviously it's the middle of summer. New Zealand gets a fair amount of rain, but it's still very dry here, and you can see there's a few dead trees. It's a great place to find firewood in the middle of winter, but there's actually a fire ban at the moment in Canterbury. This area had some fires go through it a few months ago, and I'm not going to take any chances. So even though there's loads of lovely firewood, I could light a beautiful fire, I don't need it. I've bought gas to cook on, and it's not cold enough to warrant a fire. In New Zealand, one of the rules with campfires is you need to need the campfire for warmth or cooking. And I could lie and say, oh gee, I'm chilly, I need it for my warmth, but I don't need it for warmth in the summer, and I don't need it for cooking because I've bought gas and there's a fire ban. Lots of reasons not to light a fire. Just hate to be that person, you know, that person that ends up being the cause of a fire. I'm just thinking that before I have my wine, I should actually set up my bed. Get my chores done before I relax, because otherwise it'll get dark and then I've got all my work to do. So I have my fingers crossed. My husband went on a motorbike trip with a mate and took his air mat, my beloved, I call it my beloved X-Bed down mat, is not actually mine. It's my husband's. He very kindly lets me use it, but he just got back today from a motorbike trip with a mate, and I'd already packed. So I didn't bring my X-Bed down mat, which is my trusted mat. I have bought my Flextail R05. This one went flat on me on the last trip, but I have submerged it in the bath twice and I cannot find a hole. So I'm wondering if it was user error. Might be my fault. So wish me luck, you guys. It is either going to stay inflated or I am going to be sleeping on the hard ground tonight. So I had a big fail leaving for this trip. I forgot that I had put my pot, my billy, in the fridge with my nacho mince and bean mix that I had carefully made up. The sour cream, the cheese, the jalapenos, they were all inside that billy can in the fridge, and I was supposed to pull it out before I left, but I forgot. So on my way here instead, fortunately I remembered when I was halfway here. So I went to the supermarket and bought some more stuff, but that explains why I have an entire jar of salsa. Who in their right mind would carry that into the mountains? But yeah, I couldn't decant it into something smaller. So I bought nacho chips to make nachos, but instead I'm going to have them with salsa. Would you like your dinner? Alright. I'll give her dinner so that she can relax, because she's only thinking about one thing until she's had her dinner. Yes. case you're wondering why I've got that coat on her, it's just so that she is very obviously a loved domesticated animal when she's out here. Like if she happened to get lost, which is unlikely because she doesn't like to let me out of her sight, but if she is to get lost or there was a hunter somewhere, I mean, you're supposed to identify your target, rah, but anyway, I'm not going to take any risks. I like her to have that on because it makes it really obvious that she's connected with a human. It also keeps her clean, so I'll take it off before bed. It's lovely and warm, so she doesn't need a coat for sleeping in. Cheers! Hello! You're welcome! Would you like to come try your bed out again? Come lie down. Lie down. There you go. Might take some getting used to. Hey. There we go. There we go. And come here. I'll move this out the way. Excuse me. What about there? Try that. Oh, there we go. That's it. I don't know how many of you guys are on Instagram. But on my Instagram page I put a little video of Indy that I took during the week when we were out and about. She's so funny. She's a really good communicator, isn't she? She's a really good communicator. And a few months ago my husband said to me, oh, did you realise that she shakes her head when she doesn't want you to throw the ball for her anymore? Like as she's getting older and she starts to get tired, you throw it, and she can't resist. But if she gives the ball to you and you throw it, she just has to go and get it. Like she can't not. She doesn't just look at it and go, nah, I'm too tired. She just has to go. So because she knows that she can't resist, she doesn't give it to you if she's too tired. But what she'll do is you'll say, give, and she goes and shakes her head. It's really cute. And I didn't really believe him. I thought, oh, you know, maybe it looks like that, but I bet you that's not what she's doing. But it is. She does it all the time now. Hey. Just realised I'm not even zoomed in. Wow, you can see the grass moving. It's amazing. It's all the way over there. Crazy. When I saw the deer on my last trip, it was in the morning. I was getting ready to pack up the tent. In fact, I might have started packing it up, and I didn't even know they were behind me until I was editing the video. And then I saw them, like the mother and the baby, just running past and playing. Amazing. I'd love to actually be able to see some deer and watch them without them knowing I'm there. That would be cool. Hi, you're making yourself comfortable. You can if you want to. It's okay. It's alright, Puppy, you can go in there. It's okay. In there. That's good. A little bit of air out because Indy's not super keen on her bed, and it might be that it's overinflated, or it might just be the plasticky feel, so I'll put her blanket on. There we go. Sorry, darling. Can you see her? Always on my bed, hey? That's okay, I don't mind. I'll shove her over when it's bedtime. It's lovely having a view where I can look as far as I can here to the distant mountains, because although the sun has disappeared from this area here, the sun is still out over the mountains in the distance. So I've got the shadowy sort of darkness of these hills and plains here, and then the mountains are illuminated by the setting sun. I'm hoping it's a really nice sunset, even though we can't see it over there. We might get the pinking of the sky on the other side as it shines off the mountains. Sunrises and sunsets are always so much more beautiful in the mountains and out by the ocean. I'm just trying to think, how many sunrises and sunsets have I failed to appreciate because I've been inside? Too many. Mostly sunsets. Sunrises I tend to appreciate quite a lot of because very, very strong believer in the importance of getting sunlight into your eyes early in the morning. Within the first half hour of waking, if possible, you should get out into sunlight. It helps to set your circadian rhythm and helps to set the internal clock that kind of sits within all of your cells. In the morning, my usual routine is I come downstairs and feed Indy first because she's so hungry by the morning. So what I usually do, she's got 50% dried dog food, which is what you see me feed her when I'm out in the mountains, but at home she has a raw food diet and her dog biscuits. So I defrost the meat, and while that's defrosting I make my coffee. Then I go outside and feed her, and then I take my coffee and I sit outside and just look towards the rising sun. Obviously not at it. I think that's one of the wonderful things about camping, being out in nature. There's all these things that are so good for you that happen naturally just because they happen. Like you tend to go to bed when the sun sets because it's quite hard not to. Like it's quite hard to stay up because you've got to have artificial lighting and there's really not that much to do. So you tend to go to sleep nice and early. You go to bed when the sun sets and you get up when the sun rises, and as soon as you wake you've got sunlight in your eyes and breathing the fresh air. It's amazing. Bellbirds are still out, singing their tunes. So no nachos, but instead I've got salmon and green beans. Flippin' brilliant. You know what? I'm warming up to this little tent. I think you can tell why I brought it out in beautiful weather. I'm not sure that it would be all that nice to stay in as a tent if it was raining. As a hammock, it was great. I loved it. It was raining when I used it as a hammock, but if it was raining and you were using this as a tent, I think you'd have to bring those sides down more, so you'd peg the sides right down, which means that the height of the tent inside is lower, which means any moisture from the roof, especially if there's condensation inside, is going to start to leak or drip through. And there's nowhere to keep your gear, so potentially you could try and bring it in with you, like where I've put Indy's dog bed. You could probably put your pack, but it's a small space in there, So I've got my pack outside just under this little lip, and hopefully that's going to be enough to keep the dew away. And fingers crossed we don't get any possums coming in the night and stealing my gear, because they do that. I've had my boots stolen by possums before and taken up the tree. Oh dear, where is my fork? I honestly thought it was inside this mesh bag. Ah, you know where my fork is? My fork is in with my billy. Did you smell the salmon? So you know what, pups? I don't have any utensils. Darn it. Oh well, I'm going to have to eat with my fingers. What a shame. Did you want the salmon skin? Is that why you buy your bowl? Oh, you just know things, don't you? You just know me so well. Sit. Sit. Wait. Ooh, hold on. I'll put that in your bowl. Hold on. Ouch, ouchie, 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 ouchie. Let's let that cool down. Am I that predictable? Do I always give you the salmon skin? Okay. Such a lovely time of the night. 7:30. Everything goes quiet. It's lovely. Indy saw 2 mountain bikers going past, and ever since then she's been on guard. You can see the track on the other side of the hill, just winding down. And then they pass about 200 metres up that way. Hello. You're on your bed. That's good. I was just going to come and borrow your blanket, but I might take my own sleeping bag. See the mountain bikers. Good girl, leave. I know you've seen me. Ah, Indy, leave. Leave. Good girl. Just move the camera. There's not much room in here. Look how low this is. This is my knee, and that is the roof. Yeah, there's no room basically for my feet. Don't think Indy's ready for bed yet. Here's my little lantern. I'll turn the light away from you. It's awesome. This telescopic arm thing is great because you can put it down super low like this if you want it inside the tent, and then you can extend it up when you're outside. It's a great little reading light. The head turns, so you can just turn it whichever way you want. That's going to be good for reading. Alright, well I'm going to carry on reading my book. Well, Indy has a little sniff out there, and then once she's inside I can zip up. Good night everybody. See you in the morning. Good morning. I can say good morning when I've had my first sip of coffee. You come to say good morning too, pup? Isn't it a good morning? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it lovely? Oh, and aren't you so pleased to not be in the tent anymore? Yeah, that was tough, wasn't it? That was hard work in that tent. Oh, yeah. Not showing you any close-ups this morning. Oh, I didn't get a lot of sleep. Yep. Turned out it wasn't user error on the Flextail RO2 mat. It is going flat. There is a leak somewhere, and from what I can tell, it's the seal inside the valve. The non-return air valve thing isn't working properly, and I don't think the cap that closes the valve fits as tightly as it could, and I think that's where the air is leaking out. I certainly couldn't find any holes in it when I submerged it. I think it's when I lie on it and you've got pressure, it's just the air is slowly oozing out. So I had to inflate it a few times in the night, didn't I? I'd go to sleep and then I'd wake up feeling cold and sore and realise I was on the ground. Yeah. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do, puppy? She was cosy though on her bed. The only thing was she was cold. So when I woke up in the middle of the night to sort out my air mattress, I realised she was cold. This bed's great and it's very, very practical, very functional, but it's cold. You can tell by the fabric. What would be nice actually is if this top panel that you can zip on and off had a nice sort of warm quilted option that you could zip on there, and that way after you're sort of finished her getting on and off when she's muddy and dirty and wet, when you go to sleep at night you can zip on the nice warm layer. What do you think? Yeah. And the tent, wow, the tent was very cramped. I couldn't even sit up. So because of, could you stop that now? Could you stop that please? Thank you. It's because I'm talking excitedly to you and she thinks I'm talking to her, which is fair enough. So I don't want to get cross. I just don't want you climbing on me. Look at all this. Why don't you come around here and lie down? Come, hey, come. Good girl. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Like properly. Half pie lying down. Lie down properly. Do you buy it? I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. Yeah, so if you think about this slope that goes up there, by the time you get to the point where you can actually get into the tent, it's about this low. So I couldn't sit up. I couldn't even really get my top on and off or like get changed. I had to keep coming out, and the problem is the zips, they open from the midpoints of either side where it's super low. Anyway, it was just a struggle. So my consensus is I love my hammock and I'm going to use this as a hammock and I'm going to love it, and I am not going to bother using it as a tent. And one day if there's an emergency and I get caught out and there's some reason why I need to use it as a tent, I'll be very thankful for it, but I certainly won't be taking it out if I want to be comfortable. The sun is up. It is up. Almost up over the trees even, so we're going to get it up onto this little area pretty soon. Such a treat to have morning sun, honestly. Even in the middle of summer. I mean, in the middle of winter it's the best, but even in the middle of summer it's just so nice to sort of thaw everything out. I don't know what the temperature is here this morning. Feels like it's probably about 5 to 7 degrees, probably 7 Celsius, and it's not super cold. I've only got 2 wool layers on, but all the same, the sun is so welcome. I'm not going to have breakfast this morning. I Usually when I'm at home, I do intermittent fasting, and I carry that through into my trips if I'm not doing a big day of exercise. So it was only an hour at the most to walk in here, and it'll be an hour out. So my first meal of the day will be lunch. And that means after coffee, I'm going to get myself packed up. Oh, it's so nice to be able to come out and enjoy a night in the outdoors. And I have a very busy life back at home. Got 2 children, husband, a dog, 2 cats, a horse. I am busy. Very busy. And a job. So yeah, there's things that I've got to get on with today, unfortunately, and that means I'll get myself packed up and get back. I was going to say on the track, but there is no track. I just make my own way back along the terrace, down to the river, and back up the other side. Oh, even though it's a short trip, it's a sweet trip. If I couldn't do short and sweet trips, I wouldn't be able to get out at all. So even though it would be lovely to sit around here and read my book all day and go exploring, I'll have to save that for another time when I've got more time on my hands. Goodbye everybody, goodbye from Indy, goodbye from me. Thank you so much for joining us on this trip. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next trip. The next one probably will be without Indy, because I'm going to try and head off somewhere exciting, and unfortunately dogs can't go into all of our conservation parks in New Zealand, so definitely not international parks. So yeah, Indy might not be with me on the next one, but if she's not with me, it means we're heading somewhere extra special. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to sharing it with you. Bye for now, everyone.